Massive flow of support needed in Syria. Gaza war causing catastrophic impact on Palestinian economy. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. This is World Today. I'm SAHIH. The United Nations Humanitarian Chief Thomas Fletcher has highlighted that huge amounts of aid are needed in war-ravaged Syria following the ouster of President Bashar al-Assad. He said the world body was ready to go big.
We want to get a massive flow of support into Syria, really scale up fast. Food, medicine, shelter, but also the funds to redevelop the Syria that people can believe in again.
Pointing out that 7 in 10 Syrians are currently needing help, Fletcher stressed that the UN wanted to get a massive flow of support into Syria and really scale it up fast. Fletcher added that the UN humanitarian agency also had ambitious plans for Syria, with their implementations depending on the conversations with the Syrian authorities. He noted that the amount of assistance for Syria would also depend on whether the agency can secure the funding needed from the international community. Syria's economy remains constrained by punishing United States and European Union sanctions, while Western powers are scrambling to determine how to engage with the opposition forces Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. Asked if he would encourage lifting the sanctions on Syria, Fletcher said it all depends on whether the involved party have the sense of open dialogue and a willingness to really scale up the partnership. Israeli occupation forces have bombed another United Nations-run school in southern Gaza, killing at least 20 displaced Palestinians sheltering in the buildings as death toll from several attacks across the besieged territory, including in Beit Hanon, Deir al-Balah and the Nuseirat refugee camp rises. According to Palestinian officials, more than 60 people were confirmed dead as a result of Israeli attacks in the last 24 hours. Gaza's Ministry of Health said that Israel's war in Gaza has killed at least 45,030 Palestinians and wounded 106,970 since 7 October last year. Journalists reporting from Deir al-Balah said the attack on the UNRWA-run school in Khan Yunis came without any warning. They said civilians were hit as they were sleeping, including women and children, and they were not warned by the Israeli military before the attack. It was reported that some of the bodies were shredded to pieces due to the scale of the strike in question. The school was also estimated to be sheltering hundreds of Palestinian families and is located in a spot busy with civilian activity. Meanwhile, the war in Palestine is having a catastrophic impact on the local economy. The World Bank noted that all sectors have been badly affected by Israel's attacks. According to recent bank data, economic output in the Gaza Strip plummeted by 86% in the first half of this year and by 23% in the West Bank, leaving the Palestinian economy on track to contract by 26% in inflation-adjusted terms this year. The bank said the ongoing conflict in West Asia continues to have a catastrophic impact on the Palestinian economy, pushing the territories into a crisis of unprecedented magnitude. It added the continuation of hostilities has led to a sharp reduction in economic output and a collapse of basic services in both the West Bank and Gaza, amid skyrocketing poverty across the territories. Inflation in Gaza rose 300% in the 12 months to October, with food prices surging by 440% and energy prices by more than 200% due to major supply disruptions and the difficulty of getting food aid to people in need. As a result, the bank said 91% of Gaza's population is on the brink of acute food insecurity. More broadly, all the basic structures of Gazan society have been destroyed, with communication networks almost entirely damaged, despite the efforts of local operators to maintain connectivity. The World World Health Organization said a humanitarian team finally reached one of northern Gaza's only functioning hospital at the weekend to deliver fuel, food and medicines and found appalling conditions. Kamal Adwan Hospital is located in Beit Lahia, a city at the center of an intense Israeli military operation. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said that after multiple attempts, the United Nations Health Agency and partners reached the facility amid hostilities and explosions in the vicinity of the hospital. He said the team delivered 5,000 liters of fuel, food and medicines and transferred 3 patients and 6 companions to Al-Shifa, the Palestinian Territory's main hospital. Kamal Adwan is one of the last operational medical facilities in the north of the war-ravaged territory, with the WHO warning earlier this month that it was operating at a minimum level. The agency said efforts to deliver desperately needed supplies have been repeatedly hampered. Earlier this month, it said a mission reached the hospital on 30th November after weeks of unsuccessful attempts, bringing aid an international emergency team, including surgeons and other specialists. But days later, that team was among large numbers who fled the hospital amid heavy hostilities around the facility. 10 countries and the European Union call North Korea's growing involvement in Russia's war in Ukraine a dangerous expansion. They issued a joint statement saying that direct North Korea support for Russia marks a dangerous expansion of the conflict with serious consequences for European and Indo-Pacific security. The foreign ministers of Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, South Korea, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, the United States and the Higher Representative of the European Union signed the release. They said they condemn in the strongest possible terms the increasing military cooperation, including the deployment of North Korean troops to Russia for use on the battlefield against Ukraine. They added that the export of ballistic missiles, artillery shells and other military material by Pyongyang to Russia, as well as Moscow's training of North Korean soldiers involving arms, represent flagrant violations of United Nations Security Council resolutions. They also said they were deeply concerned about any political, military or economic support that Russia may be providing to North Korea's weapon programs. The United States and South Korea have accused the North of sending more than 10,000 soldiers, and the Pentagon claimed that Pyongyang's forces have entered combat in Kursk alongside Russian forces. A juvenile student killed 2 people at Wisconsin school before police found the suspect dead at the scene of the latest shooting to devastate a U.S. campus. Police said at least 6 other people were wounded. There were children among the dead and injured in the shooting, which took place in the state capital of Madison. The Madison Police Department said the shooting took place at Abundant Life Christian School, a private institution that teaches some 400 students from kindergarten through 12th grade. The police department said in a written statement that at least 3 people were killed in the incident, including the suspected shooter, who was identified only as a juvenile student at the school. The shooter was found dead inside the school when police arrived. At least 6 people were transported from the scene to nearby hospitals. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes said the shooting took place just before 11 a.m. local time. Video posted from the scene on social media showed a massive emergency response, including police, ambulance and fire vehicles. Gun control and school safety have become major political and social issues in the U.S., where the number of school shootings has jumped in recent years. The Philippines has ratified a key defense pact with Japan, which allows them to deploy troops on each other's soil. Both countries are longtime allies of the United States, which has been strengthening an arc of alliances to deter China's disputed territorial claims in the Pacific. The pact, which also allows for increased joint combat drills, was ratified by the Philippine Senate with no negative votes or abstentions. Japan's embassy said lawmakers in Tokyo will also need to vote through the treaty before it takes effect. The Senate in a statement said ratifying the agreement further affirms the strategic partnership between the two countries and their mutual goal to enhance contribution to regional and international peace, security and stability. The agreement will expand the defense cooperation of the Philippines and Japan in the maritime domain amid shared security challenges. Negotiators from both countries finished brokering the pact in July after 7 months of talks. While Japan invaded the Philippines during World War II, nowadays they have commonly military ties to the United States. The Vietnamese economic landscape looks promising, with the gross domestic product GDP growth expected to exceed the set target of 7% thanks to concerted efforts by ministries and sectors. Deputy Minister of Planning and Investment Tran Quoc Phuong said the ministry's economic scenario reported to the government in the third quarter suggested that without significant disruptions such as typhoons, floods and adverse global impacts, Vietnam has a solid foundation to obtain its 7% growth goal. Deputy Director of the General Statistics Office System of National Accounts Department, Nguyen Di Huyen, said the U.S. Federal Reserve FED's potential interest rate reductions would help stabilize the economy and fuel GDP growth despite inherent time lag. She noted that Vietnam could continue its robust growth momentum with Fed's loosened monetary policy and stable macroeconomic conditions. In its latest projection, the Asian Development Bank raised its 2024 growth forecast for Vietnam to 6.4% from previous prediction of 6%. Still ahead, Germany Seoul loses confidence vote, paving way for elections. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has lost a confidence vote, spelling the effective end of his troubled government and putting Europe's biggest economy on the path to election on 23rd February next year. Scholz had called the vote, expecting to lose it weeks after his coalition collapsed. A total of 207 members of parliament expressed confidence in Scholz against 394 who did not, with 116 abstentions. Although the central-left chancellor continues in a caretaker role and with a minority in parliament, the political turmoil threatens months of paralysis until a new coalition government is formed. After more than 3 years at the helm, Scholz's three-party coalition fell apart last month after the pro-market-free Democrats quit in row over debt, leaving his Social Democrats and the Greens without a parliamentary majority, just as Germany faces a deepening economic crisis. The country is struggling to revive a stuttering economy hammered by high energy prices and tough competition from China. Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has resisted investigators' calls for him to answer questions over his failed bid to declare martial law this month. Yoon, suspended from office by Parliament since Saturday, faces concurrent probes over alleged insurrection by both South Korean prosecutors and a joint team of police, defense ministry and anti-corruption investigators. Yoon and some of his inner circle face possible life imprisonment or even the death penalty if found guilty, and he remains under a travel ban. Prosecutors issued Yoon with the second summon yesterday for questioning over insurrection and abuse of power allegations after he refused to comply with a similar request a day earlier. The Joint Investigation Unit also asked the suspended president appear to answer questions on Wednesday, but was rebuffed by his office. Investigators could seek a court-issued arrest warrant should he continue to refuse. Yoon was removed by South Korea's parliament on Saturday over his short-lived attempt to suspend civilian rule, which plunged the country into its worst political turmoil in years. A fresh election must be held within 2 months if his removal is upheld by the Constitutional Court. Prime Minister Han Duck-seo is serving as interim leader in Yoon's stead. Canadian Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland has resigned after clashing with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on issues including how to handle possible US tariffs, dealing an unexpected blow to an already unpopular government. Freeland resigned just hours before she was due to present a fall economic update to Parliament. The document showed the minority Liberal government had run up a 2023-2024 budget deficit of 61.9 billion Canadian dollars, much higher than predicted. Freeland said she was quitting in the wake of a meeting last Friday with Trudeau, who asked her to take on a lesser post after the two had been arguing for weeks over spending. Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc, a member of Trudeau's inner circle, was quickly named Finance Minister of the minority Liberal government. The resignation of Freeland, who also served as a Deputy Prime Minister, is one of the biggest crises Trudeau has faced since taking power in November 2015. It also leaves him without a key ally when he is on track to lose the next election to the official opposition Conservatives. The potential threat was underlined when a top member of the opposition New Democrats, who have been helping keep the Liberals in power, said the party would vote to bring down Trudeau next year unless he quits. Emergency workers search for survivors and battle to restore services in Mayotte, France's poorest overseas territory, where hundreds or even thousands are feared dead from the worst cyclone to hit the Indian Ocean islands in nearly a century. Cyclone Chido devastated large parts of the archipelago of East Africa over the weekend, with the winds of more than 200 kilometers per hour strewing homes over hillsides and cutting phones, power and drinking water. With areas still inaccessible, France's acting Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau said it would take days to ascertain the full extent of damage and death as he arrived in the disaster zone. France also used ships and military aircraft to rush teams and supplies to the devastated region to provide aid in the wake of the cyclone, but the damage has been compounded by years of poverty that France has been criticized for. More than three-quarters of Mayotte's 321,000 people live in a relative poverty. According to 2021 figures from statistics agency INSEE, Mayotte has an annual median disposable income of just over 3,000 euros per inhabitant, roughly 8 times less than the Ile-de-France region around Paris. TikTok has petitioned the US Supreme Court to temporarily halt a law that could force its Chinese owner, ByteDance, to divest the popular video sharing platform or cease operations within a month. The law enacted by Congress aims to address national security concerns related to the potential misuse of user data by the Chinese government. However, TikTok argues that the law is unconstitutional and would have severe consequences for its millions of American users. The company's petition will also allow the platform to continue operating while the legal battle plays out. TikTok has been under intense scrutiny in the US for several years, with lawmakers expressing concerns about its data privacy practices and potential ties to the Chinese government. The company has repeatedly denied these allegations and implemented measures to protect user data. The outcome of this legal challenge could have far-reaching implications for the future of social media regulations and US-China relations. 5 of the 7 tourists who fell ill after consuming pina colada cocktails at a luxury Fiji resort have been discharged from the hospital. The incident occurred on Saturday night at the Warwick Fiji resort, where the affected tourists experienced symptoms of including nausea, vomiting and neurological issues. Fiji's Minister for Health and Medical Services, Dr. Ifaremi Wakanabite, said the hotel has also launched an internal investigation and is cooperating with health authorities to determine the root cause of the illness. While initial speculations pointed to the potential methanol poisoning, Wakanabite, however, dismissed the possibility. He assured the public that the incident was isolated and that Fiji remains a safe destination for tourists. The unfortunate event comes on the heels of a similar incident in Laos last month, where several tourists succumbed to suspected methanol poisoning. Next up in sports, Mohammad Faris, Lik Hao strike goal in Bahrain. We begin our sports segment with para badminton. Mohammad Faris, Anwar and Che Lik Hao again showed their prowess by clinching the gold medal in the men's double SU5 category, physical impairment, at the 2024 Bahrain Para Badminton International Championship held in Manama. In the final at Isa Sports City, the duo defeated Indonesia's Diva Andri Musti and Hafiz Brilliantshah Prawi Negara 13-21, 21-17, 21-16 in a grueling 59-minute battle. This marks the Malaysia's pair's second victory over the same opponents, having also defeated them at the 2024 Royal Beach Clique Para Badminton World Championship. Muhammad Faris also secured a silver medal in the SU5 single events, losing 15-21, 17-21 to Diva in the final. Lek Hau claimed the bronze medal after losing to Muhammad Faris in the semi-finals with a close scoreline of 17-21, 22-20, 21-23. Meanwhile, the Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Hill extended her heartfelt congratulations to Lek Hau and Muhammad Faris for their achievement via her official Facebook page. Moving on to football, Bournemouth Ines Unal equalised with a stunning free kick as the hosts earned a 1-1 draw after West Ham United Lucas Paqueta scored a late penalty for what locked the winner in a Premier League clash of missed opportunities. Bournemouth substitute Tyler Adams handled Aaron Wan-Bissaka's cross in the area and Paqueta stepped up in the 87th minute to convert from the spot to give his side the lead. But within 3 minutes, the home side were level as Turkish forward Unal fell in a 30-meter free kick that left goalkeeper Lukas Fabianski, who had been excellent, with no chance. Bournemouth had 29 attempts at goal, their record for a Premier League game, and West Ham a respectable 16. The total of 45 was the most of any Premier League game this season, though between them the two teams managed only 12 on target. Following the draw, Bournemouth move up to 6th in the standings with 25 points, while West Ham stay 14th with 19 points also from 16 games. In Serie A, defending champions Inter Milan stormed to a 6-0 win at Lazio as they scored quick-fire goals either side of halftime, a superb display that silenced the Stadio Olimpico. Inter delivered a masterclass to overwhelm Lazio, with Hakan Çalhanoğlu breaking the deadlock with a 41st minute penalty and Federico Di Marco making it a 2-0 at the break with a volley. Nicola Barella slotted home for a 3-0 6 minutes after the restart before Denzel Dumfries netted 2 minutes later, and Carlos Augusto and Marcus Thuram completed the rout late on. Inter now have 47 goals on the road in Serie A this year, a club record for away goals in a calendar year in the top flight. Inter remain third with 34 points from 15 matches and trail leaders Atalanta by 3 points with a game in hand. Lazio, who beat second place Napoli last time out, suffered its second league loss in 3 games and sit 5th on 31 points from 16 matches. The 2024 FIFA Best Awards ceremony will be hosted tonight during a gala dinner at the renowned Aspire Academy in Doha, Qatar. Awards will be given to the best men's and women's players and coaches, among others. European champions Real Madrid dominate the men's player category with 5 of their current squad named, including Jude Bellingham, Dani Carvajal, Kylian Mbappe, Federico Valverde and Vinicius Junior, plus recently retired Toni Kroos. The award ceremony will be hosted on the eve of Real Madrid's FIFA Intercontinental Cup final against Mexican side Pachuca, which kicks off Thursday morning. Inter Miami's Lionel Messi is the only player currently playing outside of Europe nominated for the men's award. The women's player category has 7 players that appeared for Barcelona during 2024 after the club swept 4 trophies in the season, including the Champions League. They are Atiana Bonmati, Caroline Graham Hansen, Kiara Walsh, Lucy Bronze, Mariano Caldenti, Ona Battle and Salma Parulelo. The top men's coaches features an impressive lineup of Carlo Ancelotti of Real Madrid, Lionel Scaloni of Argentina, Luis de la Fuente of Spain, Pep Guardiola of Manchester City and Xabi Alonso of Bayern Leverkusen. The General Assembly of Spain's Football Federation, RFEF, has elected Rafael Luzon as president after more than a year of turmoil at the scandal-ridden body following the downfall of a former chief, Luis Rubiales, and his right-hand man, Pedro Roja. Head of Galicia Regional FA, Lausanne, received 90 votes to beat Valencian FA chief Salvador Gomar, who garnered only 43 votes in a two-way race following a last-minute withdrawal of Extremadura FA's head Sergio Merchant.
El gran reto es no defraudar a tantos equipos, desde el fútbol base hasta los equipos, los grandes transatlánticos del fútbol español, como son Real Madrid y Barcelona. Vamos a intentar no defraudarles, vamos a trabajar para ellos y yo os pido que nos deis un margen de tiempo para que todo esto se visualice.
Last April, the Spanish government created a special committee to oversee the football governing body until it held new elections. Luzon too has had legal problems that could plague the RFEF's hope of starting with a clean slate as Spain gears up to co-host the 2030 World Cup. In May 2022, he was found guilty of wrongdoing in a case involving a contract to improve a football pitch in the city of Morana. Although he was cleared of fraud charges, the sentence barred him from holding public office for 7 years. Former Kedah Darul Aman FC coach Mohammad Nafuzi Zain has been appointed as the new head coach of the national under-23 team. His mission is to ensure continuity in the youth squad, which serve as a talent pipeline for the senior team. The Football Association of Malaysia (FAM) said Nafuzi's credibility at the age of 46 is also relied upon to strengthen the national under-23 squad, which has recently underperformed on the international stage. With Nafuzi's appointment, the FAM said the key task for the national under-23 squad next year will be to make a strong comeback in the 2025 ASEAN Under-23 Championship, the 2026 AFC Under-23 Asian Cup qualifiers, and the 2025 SEA Games in Thailand. Nafuzi will officially begin his duty with the team on 1st January. Additionally, the FAM also announced that a new Chief Executive Officer and experienced medical team will be appointed to assist in the restructuring of FAM, ensuring that the organization's operations run more efficiently and professionally. The medical team will begin using the latest technologies to ensure that Harimau Malaya players receive the best possible medical services and treatment. The FAM said these measures are expected to improve management quality, strengthen player fitness, and maximize their potential. And that wraps up World Today. In our top story, massive flow of support needed in Syria. Tune in to Malaysia Tonight, coming up at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and saluran Berita RTM. Till then, I'm SAHIH from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Thank you for watching.